Okay, so it's been a really long time since I've uploaded anything or did any kind of tutorial. But today I have decided I am getting ready to edit this silhouette photo of my daughter, and I thought that I would record the process of me doing that because I do get asked time to time how to do this. So I'm just going to open this photo up into Camera Raw. You can do this in Lightroom as well. I just choose to use Camera Raw. And to take this photograph, there needs to be bright light behind your subject, and you expose for the sky. If you don't know what I mean by saying expose for the sky, just Google how to take a silhouette photograph, how to expose for the sky, something like that. And then you start with this image right here. And it is somewhat silhouetted, but if you look, you can still see some detail. So what I do to start with is I take my shadows all the way down. And then I also take my blacks all the way down. And then that helps get out any of this. And I'm going to shop out this guardrail and this little bit of sun. I was trying to get a sun flare behind her and it didn't quite work out. And while I'm zoomed in here, I'm also going to get rid of the CA, that little purple fringe. I'm gonna get rid of that a little bit, which I could just desaturate the whole photo. Since it is a silhouette, it's not really gonna matter. Should be no other color in it besides the sky. But on this one, we're gonna drop a sky to make this look more colorful. And I'm gonna shop out like these little distractions and stuff. So now that I got that where she's all shadowed, I'm going to open it up into Photoshop. And by the way, I'm just doing this really quick. I'm not going to edit the video. I'm just going to upload it as is. So there will be mistakes and a background sound. I'm just doing this on a whim. And I have a sky ready to go that I want to put in it. And it is from Robin Chavez. Had 100 skies. And this is in the folder 51 to 100. I got them quite a while ago. But I chose one out of that group, and that's what I'm going to use. But first, I'm going to just clean this up a little bit. I'm going to straighten it. I'm going to use the straighten tool, and I'm just going to make a line across this horizon and straighten up the photo. And I'm going to put her more on the rule of thirds. Oh, hang on, let me pull this side down just a little bit. About like that should be good. And then that leaves me just a little bit over here. I'm going to grab my clone stamp. I'm also going to duplicate the background and work on a different layer, so that way if I mess up, it's not that difficult. Actually, let me just sample that. And just do this just to make the line. And then I'm just going to take my brush tool, and since I'm dropping a sky anyway, I'm going to just paint this out. There we go. And then I'm going to do the same thing over here. I'm just going to sample that color, and I'm just going to paint this black away. Just take different samples of color, even though it's going to get covered up with the sky. You don't want like one solid harsh color. Okay, and then I will take black. Actually, I'm going to sample from that. And zoom in. I'm going to leave that tree. And let's see. I'm going to paint out that stuff. I'm going to fix that with the clone tool. I'm going to go back to the clone tool and grab that line. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Just go back over that, straighten up that line, and get rid of that little bit of a flare there. Reduce the size of my brush so I can get that piece. Like with a silhouette, you don't have to be like super perfect, but okay. I guess I'll leave that. Actually, I am gonna get rid of that. Won't take but a second. There we go. And let me put a mask on that and erase that overspray of blue I got. Oh, what am I doing here? Okay. That's the edge of the photo. So I'm going to go back to my clone tool. I'm going to add another layer to do this. See, I'm just like all over the place. I'm just like, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that. And just kind of get rid of that. And maybe take the bush all the way to the edge. There we go. And back to my brush tool and paint this in a little bit. I'm going to use a lower opacity brush and just kind of blend it. And erase that off that. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and flatten it, and I'm going to bring in my sky. And I'll just drag it and drop it right on top. And I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply. And that's pretty much all there is to it. I would probably go ahead and add a little bit of a blur. Just to make it a little bit more, because the trees are not sharp in the background, they're a little bit out of focus from the depth of field. About like that's good. I'm going to also go back to my background layer here. I'm going to shut the sky off, and then I forgot I went to desaturate because of that. These trees still have a little bit of color in them. So I'll just add a hue saturation layer and just take the saturation out and then add that, turn that back on. Here we go. And there you have it. And that's how I do my silhouettes. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. If you don't know your way around Photoshop, that was probably a little hard to understand, but like I said, this was just a little quickie. If you're familiar with what's going on, maybe you picked up a tip or two. But anyway, thank you.